Jailbreak attempt failed at Lusignan prisons. President and Jagdeo clash over appointment of inexperienced energy department's head. Man killed execution style at popular Sapphire nightclub bar. And in sports, ExxonMobil is a new official sponsor of Guyana Amazon Warriors. These and more right now on our Friday, August 3 edition of MTV's News Update. I'm Ashley Scotland. Good evening to our viewers in Guyana and online. An escape plot by two murder accused was foiled this morning by alert prison officers on duty at the Lusignan prison. Chelsea Griffith reports.
Officers on duty at the Lusignan prison between yesterday and this morning were able to disrupt an escape plot by two prisoners that are committed to stand trial in the High Court for murder. According to reports, during security checks, a discovery was made and it was discovered a steel bar was cut while attempts were being made to cut another. From observations, the cutting of the second bar was to allow easier exit. Due to the nature of the housing unit and the standard operating procedures, those prisoners should not have been in possession of cutting equipment and more so being allowed to actually be able to cut. As a result, the police have been called in to conduct a full investigation. The prisoners' security classification has increased and additional layers of security are in place. Back in July 2017, 13 hardened prisoners who were relocated from the Camp Street prison following a fire there escaped from a swampy pasture of the Lusignan Penitentiary. While some of those escapees have been recaptured, at least two of them are still on the run. Chelsea Griffith reporting for MTV's News Update.
This is MTV's News Update. More news on the other side of the break. Stay with us. To head the department. Details in this report.
I don't know whether he has the expertise in this sector. So I have not studied his CV. We are not required to, they didn't ask us about it. So I don't know if he has the particular skill or skill set to manage this department. So whilst he may be an excellent professional, if he doesn't have this skill set, then we're gonna be in problem.
Opposition leader Bar Jagdeo. Jagdeo also questioned the government's secrecy surrounding the makeup of the department, which he feared could be holding a monopoly on the oil and gas industry.
My concern though is that we know very little about the structure of the department and its mandate and how it will conflict with or complement the Petroleum Commission. So what will be the responsibility of this department? What will be the responsibility of the Petroleum Commission? Because that is supposed to be another technical body.
Questioning the level of political influence on the department, Jagdeo indicated that those are concerns the opposition will be looking to find answers to. It was in August 1 that Dr. Bino officially took up office on appointment by President David Granger. President Granger, however, defended his decision to appoint Dr. Bino, noting while he has no experience in the oil and gas sector, he will be supported by persons who can administer the industry. Industry experts have expressed concern about Dr. Bino's expertise to discuss key technical issues in the petroleum sector with top, highly trained specialists in major oil companies. Dr. Bino worked for several years with the Belize-based Caribbean Community Climate Change Center. Reporting for MTV News Update, Lashona Gomes Cornelius.
While there is high optimism in the government of a mass economic boom from the emerging oil industry, a local attorney trained in oil and gas is warning of the country falling victim to the Dutch disease. Here is that story.
Charles Ramson Jr., one of the few Guyanese trained in oil and gas, expressed absolute disbelief at the way the government is handling preparations for the emerging petroleum sector. Ramson, an attorney at law and former parliamentarian, told News Update that there are several issues which need to be addressed in order for Guyana to be ready for first oil due by 2020.
Really and truly, there is nothing that we can say that we have done that is complete, that is at the state of completeness where we would be ready for an oil situation.
He lamented at the fact that the oil and gas sector does not offer jobs on a large scale to Guyanese. Ramson warned of the government deliberately ignoring other sectors, which he said could lead to a massive imbalance between industries.
But there's going to be a pull and a shift because we only have so many persons that are capable of working. So it's the famous Dutch disease type of situation. So you've got to be able to make sure that those sectors are working well, and so far we've seen a huge decline in most of them except for gold. Now, here is my concern, that you've shown us that you're not ready for oil, you haven't been doing what you need to do to make Guyana ready for oil, and the other sectors are declining, then what are you really doing?
Recently, government through its Director of Public Information, Imran Khan, told an Al Jazeera panel discussion that Guyana will be ready for first oil in 2020 as most systems are in place. However, Khan's claims were disputed by Guyanese-born petroleum expert Jan Mango and local commentator Christopher Ram, both of whom agreed that while the government talked about systems, nothing is in place. They also rubbished Khan's claims that the government is engaging international experts, nothing that those experts are coming here on one-day trips, which are clearly inadequate. Kippany Jordan reporting for MTV's News Update.
Failing to pay water bills promptly could lead to persons being refused a loan at commercial bank, as the Guyana Water Incorporated will be sharing customers' credit history with lending institutions. This is according to GWI's Managing Director, Dr. Richard Van West Charles, who revealed that the utility is owed some $3 billion for the first half of this year.
The Guyana Water Incorporated is in the process of sharing the credit information of defaulting customers with the Credit Bureau, which could see persons applying for loans or hire purchase being refused due to bad payment history.
We are actively sharing this information with Credit Info. So once you owe us and you go to the bank or you go to courts to have access to credit, your name comes up as a bad customer.
Legal action will be taken against persons who deliberately refuse to pay GWI for their services. Of the 1,000 persons indebted to the company countrywide, notices for legal action will be issued to 200 persons in Georgetown soon. Managing Director Dr. Van West Charles warned that persons who have not been paying their service will have their water feed removed completely and they'll have to reapply for a new service, but will have to pay whatever is owed in the previous account.
So we encourage everybody to pay. You know, what we charge for 220 gallons is less than what you pay for 100 milliliters of water when you buy a bottle of water.
Only recently, the Public Utilities Commission, PUC, granted the water utility approval for increasing its tariffs. Dr. Van West Charles also spoke of plans to intensify the metering process countrywide to stop the receipt of estimated bills by customers. However, customers across the country have long been complaining about the poor quality of water they are receiving from the utility. One of the conditions the PUC has attached to the tariff increases for GWI is to improve its services to customers by 2020. Kippany Jordan reporting for MTV's News Update.
The Guyana Elections Commission GECOM is urging citizens to exercise caution when answering telephone calls requesting personal information from persons claiming to be GECOM employees. The Commission, in a statement, said several persons have contacted its office to query the nature of the exercise after receiving anonymous telephone calls requesting personal information. The Commission made it clear it is not engaged in any such exercise. GECOM is therefore urging persons to desist from providing any information to the callers who are pretending to be from the Commission, as their motive is unknown and can be potentially harmful. The opposition People's Progressive Party PPP says it is looking for a broad-based list of candidates from the party and civil society to contest the November 12 local government elections. The party's leader, Barry Jagdeo, is looking at a 50-50 ratio between his party candidates and civil society.
Working with a list of 13 criteria important to the selection of candidates, opposition leader Bar Jagdeo on Thursday revealed that the PPP is optimistic with the steps being made for the upcoming local government elections slated for this November. Jagdeo indicated that this time around, the major responsibility for the party is getting an equal number of individuals from both civil society and the party itself to be a part of the list of candidates.
And we have indicated, as I pointed out to you, that we want a balance between on average 50% coming from the party and 50% from civil society. These are people who are known in the area, the people of good repute, law-abiding citizens who have done community or social work, religious leaders, young people in the youth movements, that sort of people, teachers, like people from PTAs, policing groups, etc., who may not be party members, but we would like to get them on our list, who have skills and who can relate to the community.
On recognizing some of the issues facing some potential candidates, Jagdeo reminded of the need for full commitment from those selected to contest the elections.
One of the key issues is the finding time to attend meetings. We have found that some people, when you select them as councillors, then because it's not a full-time job, they don't get a salary. So many of them are busy earning a living elsewhere. 3 years we found a lot of people who did not get the time to come for training sessions. So we want our councillors to be well trained. We are making them, they have to give a commitment that they will support and defend the positions we campaign on.
Jagdeo reminded that often councillors are intimidated by councillors from other parties, thus he highlighted the need for good interpersonal skills. Reporting for MTV News Update, Luciana Gomes Cornelius.
Still to come after the break, a 21-year-old Mason killed execution style.
The body of 46-year-old Gregory Wayne Frank, a legal clerk, was discovered yesterday morning around 4:30 hours at his lot 686 Kurukuru Susike Linden Highway, East Bank, Demerara home. The man has been living alone for some 3 years now since his divorce, but a cousin of the dead man believed he was murdered by person or persons known to him.
I want to believe it's people who know you do these type of thing, man. You know what I mean? Well, the last time I saw him was Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning early going out, because he's left early for go to work. About minutes to 6, yeah, this is the last time I see. He passed away. Well, we discovered on Thursday morning, this yesterday morning, early around the same time he's left for go to work. We discovered that he's not around. You understand? When we come, we discover he lie down on the ground. You know what I mean? Dead in a pool of blood body.
The man's body was found by his stepfather, Rupert Patterson, who lived in another house located in the same yard. Relatives became suspicious after several calls to his phone went unanswered, prompting Patterson to check on him. It was then he made the discovery. Frank's partly decomposed body was found face down in a pool of blood in his living room. His head and other parts of his body bore marks of violence, according to relatives. Police have not yet made any arrests but are working on the theory of a robbery since several items were missing from the dead man's house. Chelsea Griffith reporting for MTV's News Update.
Several farmers and their families who have been living and working at the John Clifton Co-op Society in Quarantine Berbice are allegedly being forced off their transported land by a member of the co-op. The farmers, who have been occupying the plot of land for about 50 years, want the Social Protection Minister Amna Ali to address their concerns.
According to the affected farmers, the lands were given to their parents by the Guyana Sugar Corporation after the closure of the Port Morant Sugar Estate as a form of gratuity for their services. The farmers said in May, Chief Co-op Officer Perlina Gift issued an instruction for the intruder to cease all work on the lands However, that instruction was never heeded. According to one farmer, Ramatan Mahabir, though he has a transport to his land for over 40 years, he is now being prevented from occupying and working the land.
And I've been told by these members now that the land was not being occupied, it was not being cultivated. As late as around March, rice was reaped from the land, from my rice field. That is the situation right now, and I've been told that I would have to pay rent for my house lot, of which I am the holder of a transport.
Meanwhile, Dudnaut Dakpersot said his father was given part ownership of the land by Guy Suku many years ago. He indicated his frustration over the continuous threats directed to him by a co-op member who goes by the name Hack if he fails to remove his small business from the land.
This is my livelihood I am doing there. I actually living at the back there. These guys, new guys will get this lease. They are always at my chicken pen at the back and give me warning that they're going to break it down. Right now, they're carrying a high mark that they want to dig a trench and flood the place with water that they damage my crop.
Attorney at law Anil Nandlal, speaking on behalf of the families, called for the chief co-op officer to move swiftly to resolve the matter. Nandlal also indicated that it was the National Industrial and Commercial Investments Limited, NISL, that had issued the new lease.
I have also attempted to engage NISL and have informed NISL of the true facts and have apprised them of the fact that they were misled and fraudulently so, which caused them to issue a lease. I believe that they have in principle accepted that. They have promised to revoke the new lease and to work with the co-op officer in bringing a resolution to this matter. Unfortunately, the co-op officer is not acting with the speed that is required.
Meanwhile, efforts to contact the chief co-op officer proved futile as calls to her office phone went unanswered. Reporting for MTV News Update, Lashona Gomes, Cornelius.
The Guyana hemp industry is trying to canvass national support for the legalization of the industrial plant, which is a member of the marijuana family. As such, the body will be hosting a National Hemp Lobby Day on Monday. Chelsea Griffith reports.
Armand Badesi, chairman of the Guyana hemp industry, said the National Hemp Lobby Day will take place on Monday, August 6, 2018 at the Young Women's Christian Association Brick Dam Lawns using the Crow Street entrance from 9 hours.
We'd like for the public to come out, the businesses to come out. We invite all the politicians who's skeptical about the hemp, the cabinet, whoever's available and curious to know more about hemp. We have an exhibit, over 100 plus items. Come, touch and feel.
Hemp is an industrial plant with over 50,000 uses and multiple benefits. The chairman added, the reason for lobbying is to get the government to grant a license to grow the hemp for a test pile project to know what species can be grown here. He noted that farmers can benefit greatly from growing hemp, since it is much more profitable than rice and cane and can yield about 10 times more income providing that it is the right species. The chairman stated that hemp is legal in 30 to 40 countries, including Jamaica, which would have even legalized marijuana, implying there's no reason Guyana should be so far behind. He added that he's calling on the government to support him and its cause.
Well, I would like to strongly encourage the Parliament, the government, and all the politicians involved to support hemp. It's only good for the economy and good for everything. I don't see no negativity on it. It's just growing something, processing it, and it's sold to make fibers. You can have something called hemp creek, which can make building material. Hemp is a form of forestry where you take 4 acres of actual forest is equal to 1 acre of hemp. So you're going to reduce forestry in Guyana, and by growing hemp we can even have a paper mill in Guyana. So this is plus. So any negativity, you must look at the positive side, what it can do for Guyana.
Badesi added that Guyanese can benefit from the hemp industry's revenue, which is about $20 billion. Chelsea Griffith reporting for MTV's News Update.
Here is Kippity Jordan with a Weekend Entertainment Guide.
Golf is a growing sport, and president of the Lusignan Golf Club, US-based Guyanese Ali Hussein, is encouraging Guyanese to come out and enjoy a day that's fun-filled for the entire family.
This weekend marks the return of the Lusignan Open for the first time in more than 25 years. The Lusignan Golf Club will host the Lusignan Open, and a full field of golfers are expected to compete as the top players in the country vie for the titles. It is expected that the guys who win this weekend will go on to compete and represent Guyana in the Guyana Open scheduled for November 3rd and 4th of this year. All families are invited out. It is a fantastic weekend to come out and enjoy the golf course. Lots of activities happening there. We have a barbecue on Sunday, and anyone with a barbecue ticket or even a VIP complimentary entry ticket has a chance to win over $200,000 in prizes that will be given away. More than 30 sponsors have come on board for the Lusignan Open, and they're all excited about it. So it's going to be a really carnival kind of atmosphere, lots of fun, tent setup, food, drinks, everything you can imagine for a great weekend out with your family and a fabulous, fabulous golf game, because this is the competition that's going to test the very best of golfers in Guyana.
So, come out with the family and breathe in some fresh air on a Sunday from 10 a.m. I'm Kippany Jordan with this week's Entertainment Guide.
19-year-old serial robber was today remanded to prison. Here is Chelsea Griffith with today's court roundup.
A 19-year-old minor accused of a series of armed robberies along the east bank of Demerara was today remanded to prison after making his first court appearance in the Georgetown Magistrate Court. Shamar Charles of Water Street, Agricola, was brought before Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor to answer to several armed robbery charges. The first charge read that on July 24 at Eccles East Bank Demerara, Charles, while being in the company of others armed with a gun, robbed Elias Valenzuela of a $14,000 blue phone. It is further alleged that on the same day and location, while being in the company of others and armed with a gun, Charles robbed Chinese national Wei Fang Wong of $2.6 million worth in cash, jewelry and cell phones. The third charge read that on July 25 at Bagaststown, East Bank of Demerara, while being in the company of others and armed with a gun, Charles robbed Debbie Atwell of $230,000 worth in jewelry. It was also alleged that on July 27 at Houston, he robbed Navindra Prasad of $50,000 cash along with a $120,000 cell phone. He was remanded until August 17 after denying the charge. Charles was then brought before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan to answer to 3 other charges which he also denied. These matters were transferred to the Providence Magistrates Court for August 13. An 18-year-old Better Hope East Coast Demerara resident was today remanded to prison on an attempted murder charge. Orwin Smith appeared before the Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan and was not required to plead to the charge, which stated that on July 30, 2018, at Avenue of the Republic, Georgetown, he caused grievous bodily harm to James Abrams with the intent to commit murder. Police prosecutor Neville Jeffers told the court that on the day in question, Smith asked James, a bus driver, for a drop to Pleasance free of charge. However, upon refusal, an argument ensued between the two, during which Smith pulled out a pair of scissors and stabbed Abrams to his neck. The injured bus driver was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, while Smith was arrested. The chief magistrate, based upon the prosecution objections, remanded Smith to prison until August 8.